in raising a question that I'm going to be talking to you, a lot of people brought up this topic, probably because Eric Weinstein talked to Joe Rogan recently and said that he and you were contacted by folks about UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
Can you clarify the nature of this contact? Can you
Yeah, yeah.
that you were
Well, I mean,
contacted about?
I've got very little to say on this. I mean, he has much more to say. I think he went down this rabbit hole further than I did, which wouldn't surprise anyone. He's got much more of a taste for this sort of thing than I do. But I think we were contacted by the same person. It wasn't clear to me who this person was or how this person got my cell phone number. Um, they didn't seem. It didn't seem like we were getting punked. I mean, the person seemed credible to me.
And they were talking to you about the release of different videos on
Yeah,
UFOs.
and this is when there was a flurry of activity around this. So there was there was a big New Yorker article on UFOs, and there was rumors of congressional hearings, I think, coming, and there were the videos that were being debunked or not. And so this person contacted both of us, I think, around the same time. And I think he might have contacted Rogan or other. Eric is just the only person I've spoken to about it, I think, who I know was contacted. And the what happened is the person kept, writing a check that he didn't cash. Like he kept saying, okay, next week I'm going to, I understand this is sounding spooky and, you have no reason to really trust me, but next week I'm going to put you on a Zoom call with people who you will recognize. And they're going to be, former heads of the CIA and, people who just, you're going to, within 5 seconds of being on the Zoom call, you'll know this is not a hoax. And I said, great, just let me know. Just send me the Zoom link. Right. And I went, that happened maybe 3 times, there was just one phone conversation and then it was just texts, that's just a bunch of texts. And I think Eric spent more time with this person, and I haven't spoken to him about it. I know he spoke about it publicly, but so I, it's not that my bullshit detector ever really went off in a big way. It's just the thing never happened, and so I lost interest.
So you made a comment which is interesting that you ran which I really appreciate, that you ran the thought experiment of saying, okay, maybe we do have alien spacecraft, or just the thought experiment that aliens did visit.
Yeah.
And then this very kind of nihilistic, sad thought that it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't affect your life. Can you explain that?
Well, no, I think many people noticed this. I mean, this was a sign of how crazy the news cycle was at that point, right? It's like we had COVID and we had Trump, and I forget when the UFO thing was really kicking off, but it just seemed like no one had the bandwidth to even be interested in this. It's like I was amazed to notice in myself that I wasn't more interested in figuring out what was going on. It's like, and I considered, okay, wait a minute. If this is true, this is the biggest story in anyone's lifetime. I mean, contact with alien intelligence is by definition the biggest story in anyone's lifetime in human history. Why isn't this just totally captivating? And not only was it not totally captivating, it was just barely rising to the level of my being able to pay attention to it. And I view that, I mean, one as to some degree, an understandable defense mechanism against the bogus claims that have been made about this kind of thing in the past. The general sense that it's probably bullshit, or it probably has some explanation that is purely terrestrial and not surprising. And there is somebody who, what's his name? Is it Mick West? I forget. Mm-hmm. Is it a YouTuber?
Mick West,
yeah.
He debunks stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I have since seen some of those videos. I mean, now this is going back still at least a year, but some of those videos seem like fairly credible debunkings of some of the optical evidence. And I'm surprised we haven't seen more of that. Like there was a fairly credulous 60 Minutes piece that came out around that time, looking at some of that video, and it was the very video that he was debunking on YouTube, and his video only had like 50,000 views on it or whatever. But again, it seemed like a fairly credible debunking. I haven't seen debunkings of his debunkings, but
I think there is, but he's basically saying that there is possible explanations for it.
Right.
And usually in these kinds of contexts, if there's a possible explanation, even if it seems unlikely, it's going to be more likely than an alien civilization visiting us.
Yeah, it's the extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence principle, which I think is generally true.
Well, with aliens, I think there should be some humility about what they would look like when they show up. But I tend to think they're already here.
The amazing thing about this AI conversation, though, is that we're talking about a circumstance where we would be designing the aliens.
Yeah.
And there's every reason to believe that eventually this is going to happen. Like I said, I'm not at all skeptical about the coming reality of the aliens, and we're going to build them.